Hey, welcome to the Cardinal Zone here in video form. That's new. So yeah, we've got a pretty basketball-heavy slate tonight to talk about, but we'll just lead in with a pretty not that fun game for the Badgers last weekend,
Yeah, it was pretty
or last Tuesday, sorry.
last Tuesday.
Yeah,
Pretty blah game.
yeah.
It was disappointing.
It had to be Maryland too. You know, like now we get to hear all those jokes like, why did we add Maryland and Rutgers?
And Rutgers, yeah. Come on. It's terrible.
Yeah, and plus Maryland fans, I grew up rooting for UNC and I lived in Maryland, so I know that fan base pretty well. And they've just they combine the inferiority complex that you see with Michigan State, then some entitlement you see with Penn State, and then the vulgarity of Michigan State, and it's a bad fan base to lose to, especially now that they seem to be pretty clear cut the second best team in the Big Ten.
Should we start with the storming the court?
Oh God!
Let's start with storming the court. That was ridiculous.
You are the number 14 team in the country, and you stormed the court after being number 5. That's 9 spots in the rankings.
There's no point to that. Maryland won the championship in 2002. They have that before we did. We don't have a championship since '41.
Yeah, it's just
They're a strong program. You know, they're not elite per se on a consistent basis.
they do have that little upset at home magic that they always seem to pull against Duke and UNC, but maybe that translates over to the Big Ten, which it's kind of comforting to see. They'll get to be their same old fan base, but yeah.
I mean, at least on the bright side, at least the Big Ten added one really solid basketball team.
Yes, especially now that Big Ten basketball is having kind of a week here. It's at least okay. And yeah, I guess going into the game itself, it really seemed to be kind of a perfect storm of what we thought would happen if, when Trayvon left, the lack of backcourt depth, Bronson having to defend, real players on at least a 30-minute game basis. And yeah, what really just ended up happening is Maryland pretty much guarded the Badgers as well as any team has done all season. They really sealed off the inside. You didn't get those layups that Hayes gets, or those slam dunks that Decker gets, or that wizardry that Kaminsky can do. And in the end, they just forced the Badgers into just a ton of jump shots. And to the it's not all Maryland. The Badgers really seem to settle for outside shots early in the shot clock, and that's just not the Badgers' game, especially with this front court.
It was just one of those games where, first of all, this has been kind of circled on the schedule for a while now, considering Maryland got out to a really good start, even though they fell off a little bit. This was still sort of considered one of the Badgers' defining conference games. And, just the way it started, I mean, you could kind of tell this is going to come down to the wire. Just the way the Terrapins are playing and the way the Badgers are playing, it's sort of that contrasting style where you're like, okay, Wisconsin's probably the better team here, but you can see, their weaknesses are getting exposed, and Maryland's playing sort of above its head. And when that happens, that's when you get upsets.
Yeah, and plus they're a very well-designed team to beat the Badgers, especially this Badger team, just because Josh Gosser is only one guy, and Des Wells went nuts, Melo Trimble went nuts, and in the end, you either have Koenig guarding one of those guys the whole game, or with Wells, he's kind of a bigger, kind of a small forward, so if you put Nigel Hayes on him, that's just probably the quickest guy that Hayes is going to see all season, on a regular, or for the full game, not just oh crap, I have to I have to cover a guard off a switch, an actual assignment, and that's just I think we're pretty ready for Trayvon to come back.
Definitely. Another thing is some of the shots that Maryland was making down the stretch. Yeah. It was just come on, there's nothing you could have done about that. I mean, there were jump shots that they were making with guards. Badgers were defending them well, right in their face. They were driving to the basket and kind of just throwing up prayers, going in, banking off the backboard, and sometimes you got to tip your hat.
Yeah. Of course, the really inconvenient thing about this is now we have to kind of take a hard look at the Badgers' resume and think, do we want to keep arguing this team deserves a 1 seed? Because I mean, what's their best win? Oklahoma, who is making noise in the Big 12 right now?
Yeah, probably Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with this Big Ten schedule is it is so backloaded. Probably the 3 best teams the Badgers are going to play, Ohio State, Michigan State, Maryland, were in the last 4 games. And, now it's kind of rough. I mean, that Michigan State and Ohio State games are probably must-wins right now for the Badgers to even, notch up, be guaranteed a 2 seed going to Selection Sunday.
Well, they're really important because we need to take into account like how good is this Badgers team, as you said, and when you have three of the best conference opponents are all within the last 4 games of the schedule. You can't be going into the conference tournament. You can't be going into March Madness slumping. You need it would be necessary for the Badgers to win both of these remaining games against Michigan State and Ohio State, just because win over Ohio State is like, okay, they're back, they're fine, but this Maryland game, it's not by any means a crisis, but it sort of exposed what the Badgers' biggest weaknesses are.
Yeah. And one thing we're probably going to end up ruining about that Maryland game is that since pretty much, unless Duke or Virginia or Gonzaga starts machine gunning itself in the foot, the Badgers are not going to get 1 seed. And if they are a 2 seed, the NCAA does not do like an S curve where, the second best 2 seed gets the worst 1 seed. They go by geography. And if they go by geography, the Badgers are going to end up in the Midwest bracket. And if they end up in the Midwest bracket, they'll probably end up with the 1 seed who is closest to the Midwest, Kentucky. And the Badgers are a team kind of equipped to beat them. I think stretch forwards are a huge thing that can go into being that just athletic Hydra monster that Kentucky has in the paint. But that's going to be rough.
That's rough. It's a matchup I've always wanted to see. This whole season, I wanted to see what Wisconsin would do against Kentucky, and especially because, as you said, Wisconsin is probably one of maybe 3-4 programs that really is equipped to beat Kentucky, and I kind of wanted to see it in the tournament, but I didn't necessarily want to see it in the same bracket.
Yeah, if we thought the Arizona celebration last year was something, if they take down Kentucky, God.
Lock your doors.
Yes. And then, lock your doors after you close the doors with you running outside the State Street.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty much the fallout from the Maryland schedule or the Maryland loss. We now have to worry about the resume, especially with the Kentucky specter looming. So I guess we'll move on to our next thing now, something a little fun. We're in the home stretch of Big Ten play, and we are going to do a Big Ten player draft. Basically just setting up the best team that you can build for pretty much the home stretch of Big Ten play.
Using only Big Ten players.
Yeah, probably can't really draft Karis LeVert or anyone, so keep in mind if someone's injured or totally out of there. But yeah, do you want the first pick?
Should we rock, paper, scissors for it?
Sure.
Are we doing 1, 2, 3, shoot?
1, 2, 3, shoot.
Okay, this is important.
All right. So just 1, 2, 1. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, probably not going to be much of a shock. I'm going to take Frank Kaminsky.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That was a real shocking pick.
I know. There's just, it's those draft lead ups where you're is the first overall pick, are they going to take that really good quarterback or the future Pro Bowler pass rusher? I think I nailed it with Frank Kaminsky.
It was either Kaminsky or Showalter. So
yeah,
it was tough.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take D'Angelo Russell
from
Ohio State.
That's an equally shocking
pick.
pick.
It's surprising, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. Well, now I got my little draft board here that I prepared in advance of this, and I didn't tell Jim about, so he has to do it on the fly.
I'm doing it on the fly.
I'm the gamesman.
I looked up ESPN Big Ten stats in the bathroom, so that was good.
All right.
What else are you going to do?
There we go. I think I'm going to keep building the front court because I think we're pretty deep in the back court for the Big Ten, so I'm going to go with Aaron White.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Yeah. Clock's ticking, Jim.
Yeah, clock's ticking. All right. I'll take Travis Trice.
Travis Trice. Oh.
Yeah.
All right then. So you're stacking up the point guards?
I'm just stacking up the backcourt.
Okay then. I'm gonna go with DJ Newbill.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty much one of the best pure scorers in the Big Ten there out at Penn State. We all saw what he did to Wisconsin. Wisconsin won that game, but he ended up with I think I calculated at 60% of his teams making baskets. It was insane. You want to see my draft board?
No, I'm good. I'm deciding between 2 players. I'll take Nigel Hayes.
Okay, then. All right, I guess I need a point guard, so probably Melo Trimble would be a good person to go with. So, yeah, once again, went pretty well in with Wisconsin. Went pretty well against Wisconsin. I mean, we still kind of joke about when Grant landed there, who's that guy for Trimble. And Matt Borkus said that Melo Trimble was the best player on the best team in the Big Ten. Of course, now Borkus looks like a genius, so
Yeah.
thanks for that, Maryland.
It's like the third time we brought up Matt Borkus on this podcast.
It's a fun guy to talk about.
Is it though?
No.
No, it's not. Okay, well, I'm going to take the other guy I was deciding between, and I'll take Brandon Dawson.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, I guess I got Kaminsky in center, White as a power forward. I got DJ Newbell at shooting guard and Trimble at point guard. So I guess I need a wing, and with Hayes out, probably Denzel Valentine, sort of just that do-everything player. You know, he rebounds, he passes, he scores at a really efficient. Like, he isn't used that often in the Michigan State offense, or at least not as much as you see with maybe like Hayes or others. But what he makes up for is just versatility. So he's just a great glue guy.
I'm debating whether I should fill out my lineup and get a center, or if I just start stacking the reserves.
Well, you just have to think, like, what's left? Do you have, like, your big man?
Oh,
maybe,
wait a
You
second.
could use
I
a
mean,
big man.
I could use a big man, but there's somebody that I could, like, take off the draft board that, would give me a lot of scoring punch. And
I think
you
I know
have,
what you're
like,
talking about.
Yeah, you've got Kaminsky and White though. You've got my front court beat.
So you're just going to have to hope that
I'm
a
just
bunch
gonna
of shooters go
I'm
nuts?
Yeah, I'm gonna take James Blackman.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Teran Petaway.
Okay, fair.
Now, I'm tempted to take Petaway there, but I can't say I'm that much of a fan of his game just because, he's not the most efficient scorer. I mean, Nebraska uses him a ton, so, if you put him in like a Nigel Hayes role, like maybe he'll do better. But, I think I'm going to go with pretty much the Big Ten's equivalent of the Mountain from Game of Thrones with A.J. Hammonds, Ooh. Yeah, that's just a big dude, probably the best post defender in the Big Ten when he tries. But, I pride myself on coaching. I think I can motivate him, and, I think that just locks down my big man rotation.
That's what I was gonna take in the last round, and I didn't. So.
It's a draft, man.
Yeah. No.
Go small
We're
ball?
going small. Geez, who are other centers?
Gabe Olasani at Iowa. Amir Williams at Ohio State. Michigan doesn't have any big men. Minnesota's got Mo Walker.
Oh, that dude's pretty big.
Yeah. But if you want to
It
go
doesn't
small
mean anything, no. But it just like stack. No, I don't have any. Like Hayes is the biggest guy in this team, and that's not.
I mean, he
good.
can defend fives when he needs to. Like that happens when Kaminsky has a sub out.
But if I'm playing you,
then yeah, you have
how
to
am I
guard
guarding
Kaminsky,
Kaminsky?
White, and Hammonds. Yeah.
well, they're not. I mean, if you go with that lineup, that's
Well, I'll say with Kaminsky, like something that kind of happens is when you get a really big dude, like I remember Georgetown's guy, Josh Smith, 350 pounds, like bullies around Kaminsky. Yeah, like
at first I thought you were talking about Josh Smith, like NBA
I might be getting
Josh
that name
Smith.
wrong. I'm sorry, but yeah, Kaminsky, like he's incredibly skilled in the paint. That footwork is probably the best in the country, but he can get bullied. So maybe you just want to go with someone who has muscle mass.
That's fair. That's fair. The rough front court. I should just.
Yeah, well, you went Russell Trice, man.
Yeah, but I get. I don't know. I got a bunch. I got a bunch of guards here. Decker.
All right, Sam Decker to Jim Dayton. And, okay, so I'm going to just review the teams here. Starting for me is Frank Kaminsky, Aaron White, Denzel Valentine, DJ Newbell, Melo Trimble with A.J. Hammonds coming off the bench. You've got, are you going to run like Russell and Trice out there simultaneously? Or?
Yeah, I'm building the Phoenix Suns here.
Oh, okay.
Pre-trade.
That worked out so well for them, too.
Pre-trade deadline, they were great on paper, you know.
Okay, and then I guess you've got some combo of Russell, Trice, Hayes, Dawson, and Decker rolling out, or if you want to like go 3-guard with Blackman.
I would probably go Russell or I could just go like Russell Blackman
Yeah, I mean
and bring Trice off the bench, and
also
then
possible.
go Dawson, Hayes,
Okay.
Decker.
Well, we're probably going with 8-man rotation, so 2 more players apiece. Let's keep this quick. I'm going to go with Rayvonte Rice at shooting guard for my backup guard.
I'll go with Amir Williams of
Okay.
Ohio State.
I guess you got your big man there. I feel like with a Big Ten, you got a lot of really just frustrating big dudes patrolling the paint. Amir Williams, A.J. Hammonds, Adam Warbury's nothing. But it seems like there are a lot of guys in the Big Ten that when they want to play up, like when they see Frank Kaminsky, it's like, oh, we're going to take him. They can play him strong. But you just see those games where they kind of have their mind on other things. Not that yeah. All right, then I guess we're going with our last player each. And I'm shocked Rand Petaway hasn't been taken, but I'm debating between him and Yogi Ferrell, just as a backup point to Trimble, because I don't really have a true one outside of Trimble on this team. So I think I'm going to go with Yogi Ferrell out of Indiana.
Is it Ferrell?
Yeah.
It's not Farrell? Yogi Ferrell?
I think it's both are acceptable, or maybe
Both
I'm wrong.
are acceptable. Alternate pronunciation.
Yes.
Well, I guess that leaves me with, this is my last pick.
Yep.
Should I take another point guard?
I mean, if you're going full Suns.
I'll go with,
Maybe Des Wells.
I was thinking him, or if I need like a highlight reel,
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Sam Thompson.
Oh, yeah, he just had a pretty nice alley-oop tonight, but sure.
Sure, why not?
Oh, you got the Ohio State big three going there with Thompson, Amir, and D'Angelo Russell.
Build like the 20th best team in the country here.
Oh, nice. I think I made that pretty well, though.
Yeah.
So just to review, I've got Frank Kaminsky, Aaron White, Denzel Valentine, DJ Newbill, Melo Trimble starting, and then A.J. Hammonds, Rayvonte Rice, and Yogi Ferrell coming off the bench. That's just the big man, the wing, and the points. And you want to rattle off your team?
Yeah. So I'm gonna have Russell and Blackman in my backcourt, and my front court. Depending on the matchups. See, we're a matchup-based team here. Depends if the other team's got a good big or not.
There's some good bigs on this team.
Well, am I playing you directly?
Okay, that's fair enough.
Okay.
You just build the best team you can.
Then, if I'm building the best team I can, I'm going to have Russell, Blackman in the backcourt, and Decker, Dawson, and Hayes in my front court. That's really undersized, but...
Yeah, I mean, Dawson, at least, is just a monster when it comes to rebounding, so you're not going to be totally lost there.
Yeah, and I can bring Travis Trice, Amir Williams, and Sam Thompson off the bench.
All right. Fair enough.
We should run some, advanced stats on this, matchup. We should probably go do that after this.
Oh, yeah, totally. We'll link
Definitely,
it.
we gotta do this.
Okay. All right, so moving on from that fun little exercise, which I think I did pretty well in.
Yeah, you probably won, but I have decent players here.
Okay. So, yeah,
Just
I guess.
give me that.
All right, you got a decent team. All right, so I guess we'll move into our last little part, or I guess you'll take the spin there.
Our story of the week is, well, our only story of the week, technically.
Yeah, I
in
mean,
print.
if you look at our newspaper, we do have content online though, so check it out.
Our one print story of the week is Jack's feature on Ben Brust and former Badger is now playing in Lithuania for some team that I cannot pronounce, and neither can Jack.
I mean, the first question I asked Brust in my interview was just, how do you pronounce this team? It's something like Piano Zvezdas. Ben, if you're watching, feel free to comment, correct me or not. But I think that was pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, you could have said a cuss word in Lithuanian, but
yeah,
you never know.
Apparently Brust has picked up a few of those.
He has.
Yeah.
That's something you can read in the article about Ben Brust and his life in Lithuania and dealing with mystery meat and Lithuanian cuss words, all that. Go check it out.
Yeah, I mean, and also I'm not like, guys say that they love their teams, but I will say with Brust, I got the sense that he was like kind of preparing for life after piano, at least after this season, because he told me that like he tells friends, like no one from his family's visited or seen him play on this team, so it's like the sense I got is he's telling everyone, wait a year, let me get my feet wet in Lithuanian basketball, and then maybe I'll see where I can go for in Europe there, because he only has a 1 year, like pretty much every guy who goes over there gets a 1 year contract at first, so maybe he'll end up in maybe a more prestigious league. Maybe he'll end up with just a more prestigious team in the Lithuanian league. But it was just interesting to see because I feel like Wisconsin has quite a few players who end up in the Euros.
Yeah, quite a interesting journeyman life over there.
Yeah,
All those college stars going to Europe.
Be a good documentary in there.
Maybe he could. Maybe the Bucks will give him a summer league tryout again.
Oh, that would be not a waste of time at all.
Well, regardless, it's a really good story for one of the Badgers' all-time leading three-point shooter. Is he?
He's the all-time leading three-point shooter, and he set the record for most made three-pointers in his junior year, and then broke that record by like 20 made baskets in his senior year. So yeah, he's the three-point shooter of all time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a good story, and that will do it for this edition of the Cardinal Zone podcast. I'm Jim Dayton.
I'm Jack Bear.
Signing off. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys. I kicked your ass.